It's a story about a self-styled empress leading her people to a promised land encompassing all of South Africa and even parts of Antarctica. At its center is a claim that millions will soon be paid out to claimants from a secret trust set aside for the descendants of the Khoi and San, just by buying an ID card online.
If it sounds too good to be true, it probably is. Instead, it seems self-styled Aboriginal leaders are persuading poor people to hand over their hard-earned cash in exchange for empty promises. It's a bitterly cold morning in Cape Town. A crowd gathers outside Parliament. They've been summoned here by a woman they revere as their leader. Many of her followers, until now, have only met her online. This here is the last march, and the people here, they call themselves Aboriginals. They've come to stake their claim to South Africa on the basis that they're descendants of the Khoi and the San. And the woman who's brought them here styles herself as an empress.
This empress is higher than a queen. She is higher than 𝗀𝗵𝗶𝘀 as well. She's the highest now actually in this country, because this country belonged to us. We was the first nation that they can found here in South Africa.
This empress says she has more than 2 million followers who she talks to through WhatsApp groups. They share a common gripe. As colored people, they feel they've been marginalized in the old South Africa and the new.
We are prepared to get ourselves even in jail.
You must remember, for 400 years, what did they do to us? Rape my sisters, kill my fathers, kill my brothers. Whoa. The white man and the people that come into my country, and you want me to keep quiet. No, I'm not thinking.
The Empress has asked them all to sign up for an identity card, to be part of what she calls her Aboriginal family. How much does it cost?
It costs 160, which I think it's a very cheap price. Because if you go to the government, I think you pay 230.
Our Aboriginal one is cheaper.
Yes, it is, yes. We're going to have our own home affairs also.
We established that many people in this crowd had paid up front for something called the Autonomous Southern Africa National Identification Card. Very few had actually received it. Who else has got an Aboriginal ID? It would be cool to see the Aboriginal ID.
We've got one.
What does this entitle you to?
This entitles that we don't pay rates anymore. We don't pay fine traffic fines. We don't pay it anymore.
And that's what we're delivering to the president today.
You're delivering an ID to the president?
We're delivering a document telling him that we are sovereign.
We first heard about this kind of ID just before the elections. Our investigations revealed that colored people's names, phone numbers, and identity details had been recorded on an extensive database.
This guy told us the Khoisan has got money and we are entitled to that money. That is what he told us.
For the Khoisan?
Yes, we're supposed to give, don't know how much for a Khoisan ID, must get a new ID and everything.
The first time we heard about a Khoisan ID was in 𝗀𝗵𝗶𝘀, Cape Town. But when we dug deeper, we discovered an entire movement.
En dan stap het nou hier in, gat dit nou hier in by die hof.
We made contact with one of the founding members of this movement, activist 𝗀𝗁𝗃, who introduced Khoisan ID cards to colored people as proof of their heritage. He campaigns under the banner of the first indigenous nation of Southern Africa, or 𝗀𝗃𝗀𝗃.
We call it a status card, similar to our brothers in North America. It's called the Indian status card. This card gives you the status that you have been acknowledged by 𝗀𝗃𝗃 as an Aboriginal and indigenous descendant.
Back at Parliament, the Empress is laying claim to the whole of Southern Africa and Antarctica. She's also borrowed the title of the Lesotho monarch, King 𝗀𝗁𝗃 III. Puzzled, we spoke directly to the sovereign herself.
Just explain to us how you became empress.
I was getting dreams and visions, and I had to put the puzzle together because that God doesn't give you messages directly.
Empress Valerie claims to have been crowned at a small ceremony in May this year.
May my reign be marked by peace, prosperity, and progress, and may my sovereign...
The Empress has also posted chaotic videos as evidence of a judgment guaranteeing her control of the country. We discovered that the court number she used was for a completely different matter.
Can we just please prove jurisdiction here before we carry on? We already proved...
And when we challenged Her Royal Highness on our evidence, the mood changed.
You came with the agenda, you work for the corporation. You are trying to derail us, you're trying to divide our nation. You are trying with a trick to come.
Are you not tricking these people?
𝗀𝗵𝗀𝗶𝗃 is a researcher who works in colored communities. He says the Empress is putting pressure on her followers to pay for a dream, based on a historical promise by a British monarch.
The reason why people are paying this is because they make ridiculous claims. These claims is that you would be a beneficiary of the trust that the Queen of England gave to the Aboriginal people of South Africa. So the ID is supposed to give you access to that specific fund.
On his website, 𝗀𝗏 has called out Valerie van Wyk as a fraud, which is worrying as the empire is now calling for contributions to start a bank.
The Aboriginal people are helping us financially to get the bank sorted.
Who's in control of the bank account that the people on the WhatsApp groups?
Ambassador Edgar Adams. He opened a specific banking account for that. So he's got like almost 400,000 that he collected. We're still very far from what we're supposed to achieve.
70 rand, 50 rand might seem little to us who are in the middle class. But that is the difference between 2 loaves of bread, 3 loaves of bread, meal. 50 rand in our communities is 3 or 4 days worth of food. And most of these people who give that money are that poor.
I was walking down the road this morning and I couldn't help it. But I cried to God because I saw our people laying on the tarmac, no blankets, and it's unnecessary that our people must suffer like that. There's ample land, there's ample resources. Why must people live in poverty? Why?
The empire has spread its online tentacles far and wide. In the sleepy town of Onrus, a tech geek has infiltrated the Aboriginal network. Amateur sleuth Edgar Justice Hill has been sitting silently in a WhatsApp group, observing the flow of instructions.
So has anyone ever posted in the group that, hey guys, this is a scam, don't pay this money?
Yes. A lot of people, about 15 to 16 people that I can remember, posted simple warnings, straightforward warnings, things like, hey guys, this is a scam, and they got kicked out, just like you would be kicked out of a cult.
Hill has tracked scams and cults before. There are disturbing similarities in how people are groomed.
It's like these Nigerian scams, these email scams. You've won $50 million, but for us to release the money, you need to pay us 3,000 rand for handling fee.
Which takes us back to 𝗀𝗏𝗃𝗃 project. Fick says he's delivered the paperwork to court for a massive claim against the state to compensate coloureds for colonialism, apartheid, and black economic empowerment.
How much money are you fighting for in the Equality Court case?
Our claim is 4.5 million rand per claimant.
And how many claimants do you have?
On our records, we're looking at about between 40 to 50,000 counting.
Claimants? 4.5 million rand each? Sure.
That's peanuts to what is internationally paid out.
To qualify, beneficiaries must pay registration and paperwork fees.
Die kleurige mense wat dink dit is 'n scam, ons wil vir julle sê, julle gaan spyt wees. God help jou as die dag kom wanneer hierdie eise uitbetaal.
and is not alone in promising a pot of gold. The king of the Khai, 𝗀𝗁𝗃𝗏𝗀, used to work with Fick in Finsa, but he's broken away with a rival claim. He's registered 5,000 colored applicants, speculating on billions of rands in payouts.
I know it's a lot of money, but we do tell our people, we're not guaranteed that amount, but let's go in high, and whatever we get out of it will be okay for us.
So you've copied the Finsa case?
Basically, it was the Finsa case.
But you've just registered it in your own name now?
Because I broke away from them, we cannot call it a Finsa case anymore.
𝗀𝗃𝗏𝗀 is now an MP for the 𝗀𝗁𝗃𝗀𝗃𝗏 party after campaigning with Jacob Zuma. He says he wants to promote traditional leaders who were left out in the cold.
Khoi and San leaders, if they can get what the traditional leaders are getting, bakkies, houses, cattle, stipends of over 100,000 rand a month without being recognized.
Empress Valerie waited for hours outside Parliament this week to finalize access to the multi-billion rand trust she claims she will control.
We are standing behind our Empress, and she is going to get our Aboriginal Trust Fund because it's here. We need our money so that we can help our people.
Already visibly annoyed, the Empress keeps talking to us until we press her on this point.
Excuse me, ma'am, are you not tricking these people into getting an ID which has no value?
They're not just
these people that are from here.
They're not these people. They're the owners of this land. Yes. You're not helping them.
You're telling them that there's money waiting for them. Millions. There is no money.
Finally, we're asked to leave. Jacob 𝗀𝗁𝗃𝗏𝗀𝗃𝗀𝗀, the critic, says he's already received a death threat.
I do believe that they're trying to make her a cult figure. So the follower in a cult is not a rational person. So I think they are close to establishing that.
Many who have found a home in this Aboriginal nation remain loyal to Valerie van Wyk and will stand by their Empress.